Morrison. I'm a social anxiety coach. Well, exactly 2 weeks ago, a guy that mentored me on overcoming social anxiety and becoming a coach to help other people do the same. A guy that I met once a week for 3 years and became friends with. He committed suicide. And I found out 2 days afterwards on the Sunday from a friend. So I thought that I would share my perspective on handling loss or death of a friend. Someone that you have a close personal relationship with. Firstly, I'm actually really, really lucky because I've been raised with some good perspectives on handling difficult circumstances. And some of this comes from my mum. He's very, very good at dealing with difficulties. So the first perspective that I have is to celebrate somebody's life. You don't need to wait until somebody's gone before you miss them and start to appreciate the value that they're putting out there into the world. You can do this while they're still alive. But when they've died, it simply means that their contribution on a personal level has stopped. That chapter's closed, the book's finished. And it's the perfect time to actually look back at what that person gave and be grateful and thankful for all the value that they put out there into the world. Rather than be sad and down, instead you can feel a lot more positive by focusing on all the positivity that they put out there. So that really helps. I also believe that life is a lot bigger than any one person. And as much as we might not like to think it, our ego doesn't want to think it, life would go on just fine, the world as a whole, without any one person. That doesn't mean that loss of somebody isn't a tragic event, but it means that the world is just so much bigger. And often when disastrous events happen, over time, the world gets better to prevent future disasters that can be avoided from actually happening. So the world as a whole can get better on the back of an unfortunate event. Same with natural disasters. And it's also the same with dark topics like suicide, where there can be more awareness and better ways of dealing with different people in different emotional and mental states. Things can be changed over time to reduce events like this from happening, to reduce the frequency. The next perspective that I have is to keep myself in a strong and good place. You can always ask yourself the question, what would that person want you to be like? How would they want you to behave and move forwards? Probably They want you to be in a good place where you're happy, enjoying life, and putting lots of good out there into the world. So personally, I like to keep myself strong and keep myself in a good place. It's actually kinder to other people to look after yourself in this way. Because it means that, firstly, you're going to be in a better place. And secondly, you're going to have more to give, more value to put out there. And you can use that energy for good. So in my case, I've asked myself the questions, what can I do in response to this? I can reach out to people who also have a close personal relationship with this guy and ask them if they could benefit from a chat. I can also find a way to contact the family and see if they need any help, because they're going to be struggling the most. So keeping yourself strong and helping out people who are probably going to be struggling more than you're struggling, I think that's a great way to respond to loss. On a practical level, get yourself around family, friends, have lots of conversations, keep up your daily routine. I really like my running, which is why I put the thumbnail of this video as I basically chose a selfie from a run last night as the thumbnail for this video. It's also because I'm not someone that particularly enjoys taking selfies, but the person that led the run took a group selfie. So I just decided to use that photo because it was on my phone. So it's partly laziness, and also it's partly intentional, because keeping up your normal routine, doing things that you love, spending time with supportive people, this is great advice. I was really lucky because of the fact that I had this trip to Denmark planned out for quite a long time. And it just so happened that after Jonathan committed suicide, I was going to Denmark the next week. And I was able to spend time with my dad, brother, and a group of around 20 people. So I was able to get away from things and have lots of conversations. And since coming back, I've been running, going to the gym, eating healthy, doing lots of positive things. And I would say that I'm handling it a lot better than the average person would handle it. This is partly due to my past experiences. And it's also due to what I've learned in my journey becoming a coach, and what I've learned from Jonathan, what I've learned from lots of other good people. What can also help as well, which is definitely worth me sharing, is the knowledge that you don't have to be involved in any conversations, especially mental conversations, that you don't want to be involved in. So what I mean by this is that if you have an inner voice of fear, which we all do, but if it's piping up and it's very, very negative conversation topics, You don't have to get sucked in to this drama and basically stay in negative places. You can just say to your inner voice that you don't want to participate in this conversation right now. And you can switch what you focus on to something different, something more positive. And it's actually very, very, very good for your mental health and resilience to practice switching away from negative conversations that part of you wants to dwell on, to break that thread, to break the loop and switch to something more positive. It's like training this muscle, this muscle of focus. And with practice, you can become really skilled at keeping yourself in a happy place and not dwelling on negative things that would only serve to drag you down. So my perspective is to accept that death is a part of life, to know that other people's decisions are not things which you can control. All you can do is make the right decisions yourself, live life from the right place, put lots of good out there, and encourage people to be on the right path. And that is the maximum amount of responsibility that any person can take. Beyond that, what other people decide to do is their responsibility. And you may think it sounds harsh to think in this way, but also it's a great way to think to keep yourself strong. And ultimately, the better the place that you're in, the more that you can give. The final piece of advice on this topic, and by the way, I've got a little bit of a headache today, just from going to Denmark for 4 days and all the rest of it. So sometimes I massage my neck to release tension when I have a bit of a headache, just to call that out. But the final tip is to let go of self-judgment. Everybody deals with challenges in their own way. Everybody processes information differently. So however you feel right now, you're supposed to feel like that. Your body's giving you these signals, and they're there for a reason. So honor how you feel. Listen to your body. Don't judge yourself for thinking in this way or thinking in that way. If you catch dialogue in your head, like, I shouldn't be feeling the way that I'm feeling, I really should be thinking about things differently, pause for a second and ask yourself, is that a kind way to speak to a person? Would you say to a friend of yours, you shouldn't think like this, you shouldn't feel like this? If the answer is no, don't allow you to say that. Don't allow you to let me get this right. Tripping over my words a little bit. So, if you wouldn't speak like this to a friend, don't speak like this to yourself. Replace the word should with the word could. It's a lot more empowering, and it isn't associated with guilt and self-punishment. There's no wrong way to feel. So you could think differently, you could feel differently, but however you feel right now, that's fine. No need to judge yourself. Apart from that, just carry on as normal and be patient. And in the spirit of doing what feels natural and not over investigating, not trying to understand everything, psychoanalyze, like a detective trying to solve a crime with newspaper articles in their room. I think this feels like the perfect length of time for this relatively short stream. And simply put, my perspective is to celebrate someone's life when they've died, and to keep myself in a strong place, and then use the energy to help out others who will be struggling more than me, and to keep moving forwards, putting out good stuff out there into the world, and then to put a pause to those conversations, mental conversations that you don't need to be in. Just to carry on with the routine and keep on moving forwards as per usual. It's not selfish. You can't control everything in life. This is the best response that I believe that anyone can choose in a situation like this. Until next time, hope that you got value from this quick video. If you're interested in private one-to-one coaching, you're very welcome to send me an email. If you want to check out my live events, coffee socials, running and coffee socials, all these things going on in Birmingham, again, just drop me an email and I'll send you a link. Until next time, have an awesome rest of your day.